Today I was scrolling through Twitter when I came across this tweet from Sport Bible. It was a graphic showing the 10 longest bans that have been given to footballers in English football history. And there was something really weird about it, because while nearly all of the bans were in the 4 to 9 month range, number 1 on the list was a ban that lasted 30 years, from a Man United player I've never seen before, Enoch West. And there seemed to be a lot of confusion in the comments too, with everyone asking the same 2 questions. Who is Enoch West and what did he do to get banned for 30 years? So I did some digging, and strap yourselves in because this story gets insane. So Enoch West was a striker for Man United in the 1910s, and he was really good. In fact, he was their top scorer in the 1910-11, 11-12, and 12-13 season. He formed strike partnerships with the likes of Sandy Turnbull, who together won the league in 1911, and was Man United's best player for a good few years. I mean, he was maybe even the best player in the country around that time too. So given the fact he was a top player to begin with, what on earth did he do to get banned for 30 years? Well, I should begin by saying that despite his clear talent, West was definitely not one to stay out of controversy. He'd even had small bans before in his career, such as in 1911, where he was banned for 4 games following violent conduct at Aston Villa. And while that's obviously nothing compared to what he was about to be faced with, it's important to note because it shows us one thing: Enoch West had an attitude problem. And this is what leads us to the 30-year ban, which happens in April of 1915. So, Enoch and 3 other Man United teammates, plus 4 Liverpool players, all met at a pub in Manchester. They noticed that the betting odds for the upcoming Man United versus Liverpool game had a 2-0 United win at 7-1 odds, which for a realistic scoreline like 2-0 is pretty high, and they decided to do the unthinkable. All 8 players put huge bets on a 2-0 United win, with the 4 Liverpool players agreeing to throw the game for the sake of the bet, and they went to extreme lengths to make sure of it too. In fact, during the game with the score already at 2-0, Liverpool's Jackie Sheldon, one of the 4 that agreed to the match fix, deliberately missed a penalty. And while the Liverpool fans booed those players at the final whistle for blatantly not trying, they had done what they set out to do. But as we know in life, the truth finds a way out. And sure enough, the players' plan had one vital error. You see, when you place a bet, your name is attached to it, so the betting company knows who they need to pay. And when they saw that they owed money to 8 of the players that had literally just played, well, they immediately knew something was badly wrong. So they contacted the police, and surprise, surprise, all 8 players were quickly charged for match fixing and consequently banned for life. But wait a minute. The graphic Sport Bible posted said Enoch West was banned for 30 years, not for life. And what about the other 7 players involved? Why aren't they on the list? Why is it just Enoch? Well, there's an answer for that, and it's pretty depressing. See, this was all happening in 1915, which you'll also know was during the time of the First World War. And when they were charged, the FA said to all 8 players they could either take the lifetime ban or they could enlist in the army and return to playing once their service had ended. 7 of the players agreed to this, with Enoch West being the only one not to. And 6 of them returned to playing, all but Sandy Turnbull, Enoch West's strike partner, who was killed on the Western Front in 1917, serving in the army at just 32 years old. As for Enoch, well, he kept contesting the ban years on into the future. He took it to court several times, but the FA just never budged. But eventually, after 30 years of trying, they eventually gave in, probably because they were just tired of fighting it for so long, pardoning him for his actions, officially unbanning him from the sport 30 years after he was initially charged. But by this point, Enoch was 59 years old, well beyond his playing age, and even though he was no longer banned, he never played a game of football again.